The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Stoics identified several ways our minds create unnecessary suffering. One of the less obvious ones is judging. We're all far more judgmental than we realise. Not in the sense of looking down on others for wearing cheap clothes, but in how we judge what happens to us. All of us will experience misfortune at some point. Breakups, betrayal by friends, losing a job. Whatever the situation, something has likely caused you pain. But that pain is often compounded because instead of accepting what happened, we judge it. If we lose our job, we might think that we did everything right. Worked hard, rarely took a sick day, only to be let go while a boss pays themselves an obscene salary and makes poor business decisions. This is incredibly difficult to accept. Misfortune is hard at any stage of life, but especially when we feel we did nothing to deserve it. So we judge it. We judge life as unfair. We judge that we've been wronged, that we didn't deserve this. That internal dialogue creates tension and stress, even though deep down we all know life isn't fair. Another way our minds unsettle us is through worrying about things we can't control. We worry about what others think of us, the outcome of a job interview, even the weather. And while we may be able to influence some of these things, none of them are truly under our control. We know we can't change people's opinions, control the weather, or award ourselves the job, yet we still spend an enormous amount of time worrying about it. That's natural. As humans, it makes sense to worry about things that affect our lives, but Stoic philosophers argued that the real problem is that we become subservient to these feelings. We become slaves to outcomes and behaviours we cannot fundamentally change. And this is another major source of internal stress. The same is true of how we worry about the future. What might happen, what might not happen, and how those outcomes could make us feel. Disappointed, embarrassed, ashamed. These emotions are often tied to events that haven't yet even occurred. More often than not, the worry in our heads is far worse than reality. How many times have you dreaded a first day or day one at a new job, imagining every possible negative outcome, only for the day to arrive and be nowhere near as bad as you expected? In the film Jaws, much of the fear comes from not seeing the shark. The lack of imagery allows the mind to fill the gaps with something far more frightening. The future works in the same way. Our minds attempt to predict and foresee what will happen, even though we cannot truly know what will occur until the day arrives. Maybe that first day at your new job doesn't turn out so bad because the people are welcoming and friendly, but the damage is already done. The stress and worry generated by our minds can wreak havoc long before the moment ever arrives. Worse still, this pulls us out of the present moment. We fail to enjoy a free weekend because we're too busy imagining Monday morning. In the words of Seneca, life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. And all of this disturbs our lives, stripping away peace, calm, and the possibility of a still mind. Stoic philosophers understood this deeply. They saw how much damage the mind can do, but they also saw hope. Just as they identify the problem, they also recognize the solution. The root of our suffering lies in the mind itself. And because we can influence our own mind, we can cultivate a healthier outlook on life and discover a sense of peace within ourselves. So the Stoics preached and lived by some key principles to address the natural tendencies of the human mind. Firstly, judging what happens to us in life is meaningless. Life unfolds as it does, and the things that happen to us are fundamentally neutral. Most often, events themselves do not cause us harm. It's our minds that do so through judgment. You might wake up one morning to a flat tire. You could judge this, curse the universe for handing you this misfortune, feel angry, and complain to whoever is nearby before calling a mechanic. Or you could simply call a mechanic and skip the frustration. Same situation, a very different internal dialogue. Stoicism teaches that although external events are outside our control, our judgments are not. We can control how we interpret and respond to what happens. When it comes to external events, we are encouraged to refrain from judging them at all. Instead, we should cultivate an attitude of indifference towards such events. We don't need to form an opinion about every flat tire we encounter in life. As Seneca asks, how does it help to make troubles heavier by bemoaning them? In a similar way, we should refrain from spending so much time thinking about things outside our realm of control. The path to peace comes from focusing on what we can control. Worrying about what we cannot control is not only futile, it's self-undermining. We have a limited amount of time and energy, and directing it towards the uncontrollable is simply misdirected attention. Inner peace instead comes from keeping our focus on what we can control, our actions and our thoughts. At any given moment, all we can truly decide is where we choose to place our attention. Giving our time to things that we can influence is what calms us, because we can make progress, refine ourselves, and directly affect what lies within our control. This brings a deeper satisfaction with life because, regardless of circumstances, we can say we did something meaningful today. We painted that bedroom, updated our CV, or tended the garden. It is the quiet satisfaction of completing a task that comes only from focusing on what we can control. As Epictetus teaches us, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with choices I actually control. The future is, of course, far from our control. But Stoicism teaches us to draw a clear line between preparation and worry. Preparation is calm and deliberate. It's like taking out home insurance. Worry, by contrast, is emotionally driven and focused on hypothetical situations that may never occur. Lightning might strike your house, or it might not. It might start a fire, it might hurt someone, it could blow out the electrics. Before long, worry can lead your mind down a never-ending spiral. But crucially, there is no reality in which you could predict the event or the exact consequences. Beyond purchasing insurance, there's little more you can reasonably do. The key here is always to return to the present moment. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to prepare for the future? If there's something you can do, then do it. If not, worry will not change the outcome. Many modern psychologists echo this idea, suggesting that much of anxiety stems from not being present. Depression often arises from dwelling on an unhappy past. Anxiety tends to come from fearing an unknown future. As Marcus Aurelius teaches us, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. But where does this leave us? If we manage to cultivate a Stoic mindset, will we feel stronger, more capable of dealing with life's problems? Resilience is often the word most closely associated with Stoic philosophy, but a more overlooked one is peacefulness. A Stoic mindset isn't just about letting the slings and arrows of life bounce off a hardened mind. It goes deeper than that. It offers a sense of stillness, a quiet comfort in knowing that no matter what happens, you've done all you could within your control. Many athletes speak about finding peace in defeat, when they know they left it all out there. They gave everything they had, but the opponent was simply better on the day. No athlete avoids defeat entirely, but some come to terms with it because they know their effort was complete. As tennis player Rafael Nadal said, "Losing is not my enemy. Fear of losing is my enemy." In the same way, Stoicism opens up the possibility of peace in our own lives because we take comfort in knowing we've done what we can. We focused on what we could control, treated bad luck with indifference, and prepared for the future instead of worrying about it. Stoics were fully aware that we are emotional beings and did not mean for us to become robots who don't feel anything. Instead, the Stoic mindset is a bar to aim for, an ideal to strive for, rather than a destination. We may never reach it completely, but we can always try to get as close as possible. And the closer we move towards that bar, the more peaceful we tend to feel. There is comfort in knowing there is no second guessing, knowing we did all we could. Just like the athlete can never avoid defeat, we can never avoid pain in life. But what we can do is walk our path with a sense of purpose, a sense of calm, and ultimately, a sense of peace.